Last part about circles, guys. Tangent lines. Okay. Tangent lines are lines that touch the circle at exactly one point. Again, this should be in our dictionary, right? A line is tangent to a circle if and only if it is perpendicular to the radius. And the perpendicular part is very important because as you can see the pictures being drawn, it does start creating, boom, right triangles. And we use that Pythagorean theorem, right? The a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And c is always opposite of the right angle. So in this case number 1, we are going to zoom in. Determine if it is tangent. So it has to make the Pythagorean theorem true since we have all the sides. So remember, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That right angle would be happening, as we see in this picture, at the edge of the circle. So I should have a right angle if it is tangent right there. So with that being said, I should be getting 8 squared plus 15 squared is equal to 17 squared. Well, 8 times 8 is 64. 15 times 15 is 225. And 17 times 17 is 289. And 64 plus 225 is 289. So in this case, 289 is equal to 289. So yes, it is tangent. Okay. Number 2. Real fast, I want you guys to notice, the 5 is just that part of the line. I don't have this green part of the line labeled. However, notice those green parts are the same, right? They're both radii. So that part is 11. So you need to notice that this whole side is 16. Okay? The right angle always happens on the edge of the circle, so the right angle would be happening here if this line is tangent, which we're trying to prove. So that means I should be getting 11 squared plus 14 squared is maybe equal to 16 squared. Well, 11 squared is 121. 14 squared is 196. And 16 squared is 256. 121 plus 196. That is actually 317. So that is not equal to 56, which means no, that is not a tangent line. Okay. So sometimes you'll be asked to do that. Prove it. So prove it by using the Pythagorean theorem. Sometimes they're going to say, find some lines. Because we're telling you that the line is tangent. So that's what we're going to do now. Remember, that 90 is always going to be on the edge of the circle. Wherever that corner of the triangle is on the edge. That's where the 90 is. So in this case, I will be solving for c. So 7 squared plus 19 squared is equal to x squared. And I'm going to calculator, so I know 7 squared is 49. 19 squared is 361. So we're going to add 49 and get 410. And remember, to undo a square, you have to do a square root. So x is going to be approximately 20.2. Okay, number 4. Okay, number 4 is a lot like number 2, where they only gave you that portion line, but I can copy that 11 over, okay? So please pay attention to those kind of pictures that you need to be plugging stuff in. So this is really 11 squared plus 18 squared, those two parts of the line added together. Oh. This guy's not paying attention. That's where the 90 would be. So it would be plus x squared equals 18 squared. And the 18, because it is opposite that 90-degree angle. 121 plus x squared is equal to 324. I'm going to subtract my 121. X squared should be 203. And then remember to undo the square. They have to square root. And x is going to be decimal, so we're going to say 14.2. Number 5. Again, they only want this part, right? That part's x. However, we know this part is 10. So since this is becoming a complex side, I'm going to call this whole side a whole different letter. I'm going to call this side, why not C, right? Because there's my right angle. So we are going to do 10 squared plus 24 squared equals C squared, okay? Bear with me for a second. We know that 10 squared is 100. 24 squared is 576. And C squared is going to stay C squared. So I'm going to get 676 is equal to C squared. Remember though, we need to do a square root. So in this case, C, that whole side would be the square root of that, which comes out to 26. However, they don't want to know the whole side. They just want to know this little portion here, right? So I'm actually going to take away 10 from 26, since that's the part of the line we do know, and we would get 16 right here for x. So that part right there would be 16, okay? That one's a little more complex when you're solving for that side. So let me know if you have a question like this again. If you get stuck, I'm happy to help you with it. Oh, what's going on? Okay. Number 6. So for real fast, they're saying that the radius right here is 11, which means this part would also have to be 11. So we have to remember that whole side is 22, right? And the corner of the triangle that touches the circle is right there. So there's my 90. So I'm ready to plug in to my a squared, b squared, c squared. So x squared plus, what is that, 22 squared? It's going to equal 25 squared. So x squared stays x squared. 22 squared becomes 484. And 25 squared becomes 625. Okay, we're going to subtract the 484. X squared should be 141. And don't forget, we need to do square roots. X is going to be decimal. We're going to say 11.9. During this unit, if you're getting decimals, please do not freak out because of square roots. Not every square root is going to be perfect. So notice in 5 we didn't get a decimal, but in 6 we did. So don't freak out. And then our next question has decimals, so look at that. Okay, again though, we know one part of the line's 3.5, so this part's 3.5. So this whole side is 7, okay? Let's see here. There's where our right angle would be. Okie dokie, let's go ahead and start plugging in. So we would have 7 squared plus 6.4 squared is equal to x squared. We know 7 squared is 49. 6.4 squared is 40.96. And x squared is going to be x squared. So we would get 89.96 is equal to x squared. Last step is to get the square root. And it should come out to 9.5. Okay, number 8. Number 8 is like number 5. They only want to know part of the missing side. So I'm not going to refer to this side as x. I'm going to refer to this whole side as a completely different letter. And since that's where my right angle is, I'm going to call it b. So 7 squared plus b squared is equal to 25 squared. So 49 plus b squared is equal to 625. Subtract the 49, subtract 49. B squared is 576. Get the square root. So b is equal to 24. But that means the whole side is 24, right? That means the whole diameter is 24. They just want to know half of it. They just want to know the radius. So x would be equal to 12 since the whole line was 24. Okay. As always, you have a few more problems on the back to practice the Pythagorean theorem with. If you are unsure, please let me know. I'm happy to come over and help you on like what's your A, what's your B, what's your C. And yeah, this is the end of our circle unit. So let me know if there's any questions, not only this page, but anything prior to it.